What's up, YouTube fans? Today we're going to take a look at the Transformers masterpiece movie series Blackout. So this figure is from the first Transformers movie from Michael Bay. They came back way back when. Kind of kickstarted the Transformers franchise, really, to be honest. So I can be thankful to this movie for my hobby that exists today, because it kind of restarted stuff for us masterpiece collectors. But here it is. This is actually available right now out in retail at Target, or you can buy this from my channel partner, The Chosen Prime. I'll put the link in the description below. But here he is. This is a pretty detailed figure. There's a lot going on it, but there's some things you need to do right out of the box. Unfortunately, the way it's packed, things just aren't set up correctly. So let me go over all those things individually. So number one is, if you come to the back here, this backpack should be plugged in here. There's two little tabs right here. I'll try to point to it right there. That should plug in to the side of this gray piece. And unfortunately, it probably came loose during shipping or whatever, but that definitely secures things and makes it definitely more sturdy. So you're going to want to get that in. Just basically just plugs in. Let's see. There we go. And make sure you get both sides. That definitely helps to solidify this backpack. All right, the other thing you want to do is come to the bottom here, and at least this on my copy, it was definitely not attached. There's a little peg right here, that black peg, and this needs to attach onto the bottom. And without that attached, this whole thing, this whole backpack comes loose. So you really need to make sure you have that on there. That kind of holds things together. Coming to the front, there's more to do. So these are probably pushed down like this. You want to pull them out. It should look something like that. Kind of splayed out like that. Coming to the knees, these panels here were actually askew as well. It's a lot of stuff, but this was kind of like this. So you want this to go to the side here. There's a tab right here. It's going to tab into the top, so just get that tabbed in. And then this just folds down on the back. And then lastly, we'll straighten up his waist here. Lastly, this piece right here is supposed to flip up. And it's basically just, it doesn't peg, it just kind of sits underneath. And this is, I guess, his kneecap, or I don't know what it is. He's got the chicken legs that you got with MPM Starscream. You know, it's just the Bay design, but that's how these legs are. So these kneecaps are a little strained because they stick out from his legs. But that is how he looks, and that is accurate to the movie. So there you go. One other thing that might be wrong is this might be sticking up. You can just fold that down. And I had one additional thing, which I don't think most people will have. This foot, this piece is die cast right here. It's screwed in. You can see there's a screw right there in the middle of that foot. Mine was missing a screw. So when I took this out of the box, this foot was detached. You can actually see that in my unboxing. This was just sitting loose. So I had to find a screw to put that back on. But once I did all that, things definitely improved. You know, my first impressions were not very good with this guy. He was kind of loosey-goosey. Things were flopping all over the place. But now that he put all that stuff in place, it's definitely a lot better. There's a lot of nice detail on this guy. So you can see all these black panels here on the arms. And for whatever reason, they did on the back of the arms too. Maybe because you might see it if you bend his arm, but there's a lot of nice painted, just like wires and stuff, pistons. The hands themselves are painted and detailed. You don't see this in the helicopter mode. So this is painted purely for robot mode. I love that. It says no step, like you would see on like on an aircraft like this. So that's really cool. You got a whole bunch of paint here on the chest. On this part and this part, all that silver paint, kind of a wash on it. There's a dry brush. The face sculpt is really nice. And let's get in close so you can actually see. So there's a head sculpt. It's really detailed. Now, I don't care for these Bay head sculpts. It kind of reminds me of the Jetfire one. They all kind of look the same. But he does have painted red eyes, black, silver, and blue detail on the head. It's very well done. Very, very nicely done. Speaking of that, since we're in here, might as well look. It goes all the way around. Can go down to there, and back to there. Continuing with the articulation, the shoulders will go forward to here on a ratchet, back to there, out to the side on this joint here, just a friction joint. You have a rotation at the elbow. Single jointed elbow gets you 90 degrees. The hands can go up and down on that joint, hinge joint. You can rotate the hands. The fingers are individually articulated. I really kind of like these, even though, you know, they're not humanoid hands. I just like the way they look, because you get two fingers here. It is very Bay-ish, but I think they just look kind of cool. And I like the fact that they painted them with detail that you're never going to see. It's only for robot mode, so they, you know, a little bit of attention to detail there. I love that. Coming down to the knees and the legs, you do have some detail under here. You got all that copper and silver and just all those little like bits and pieces that look like they're part of the helicopter. That's really neat. Painted all throughout, from this hip all the way down to here. So the legs come out to the side on a ratchet. Goes up to there. Forward, if you move this hip skirt out of the way, you can move this and then this. You can get the leg up to there. Back to here, kind of hindered by his backpack, but you can kind of get this up. You have a rotation at the thigh. You have two knee joints here, so, I mean, you can kind of do whatever you want, but this goes up and down. There's a fake piston right here. And then this can bend all the way back to there. So you can kind of get a lot just because of the way this is designed. But yeah, the knee, there's like basically a double jointed knee due to his chicken leg. All right, coming down to here, you have ankle tilt. Goes up to there. Back to there. There is quite a bit of die cast down here. This is all die cast. The foot is actually die cast. So there's quite a bit. Well, let's see. Just I think the mechanism, but the rest of this is plastic. But that does feel good with that little die cast piece. The toe itself can hinge up and down. So if you wanted him walking, you could get him walking. It does hinge back like that for transformation. Nothing forward, but it does hinge a little bit back. Right, it does come with quite a few accessories here. I was kind of surprised for the MPM line. They usually don't come with a lot. Optimus came with a single gun, and that's it. But you do get two of these nice Gatling guns. They're not painted. They're just plastic, but the plastic color is okay. Thank God it's not swirly gray. I always hate swirly gray. Thankfully, no swirly gray on this guy, so that's great. Maybe they heard me. So you can put those on there. That looks really cool. You could probably put them in other spots too, just because of the way they work, but those are where they're meant to be. You also get this blast effect here. It's kind of a more retail looking blast effect, you know, just because of the shape. But that can go here. He can do that. So he can be blasting some Autobots or humans, as he did in the movie. You also get this effect here. Now, in the box and in the instructions, they're showing it here. I think it doesn't make sense that his machine gun is shooting missiles, so I prefer to put it in a different spot. So there's a hidden little thing here. So you open up the chest, open up this piece here. You can use that as a basically missile launcher. So you can put that here. However you want to set it up, but now it looks like he's firing some missiles out of his chest. It would have been cool if they painted the tips here black or silver to make it look more like a missile than just fire. But either way, that's pretty cool. You know, it's a cool little effect. And I'm glad they thought of stuff like that. You know, they don't usually give you stuff like this in the MPM line. You also get this, which is part of his rotor blade in helicopter mode, of course. You come to the side here. There's a little slot here on the side of his hand. So you can get this on here. And it's kind of a tough fit, but you can get it into there, and now we can hold that as kind of like a rotor weapon or whatever. Right? You can still put this on here, I think, at least. Let me see. Yeah, you can still put that on there, but it's kind of loose sitting on top of there. But I think that's a really cool looking weapon. It is painted here. It's got some silver detail. Now, when we get to the helicopter mode, you'll see it won't look like that. So I kind of love that they changed it just for robot mode. That's, some thought was put into that. That's kind of cool. All right, the last accessory here is the Scorponok character. Now, Scorponok isn't the Scorponok that we know, unless you're thinking of the Beast Wars Scorponok. For me, Scorponok is a giant city bot. But here he is. He's got some nice paint. It's actually die cast. So this body section is all die cast. The rest of it is plastic. But I wasn't expecting that, so that's cool. You got some nice paint on it. Gold, silver, gunmetal, red for the eyes. You got 2 sets of eyes there. It's a robotic look there that the Bay formers always do. The tail can kind of fold up and do this. So you can be attacking like a scorpion. The legs can go up and down. I'm not really sure why, but I guess to make him stand up a little bit higher. The arms can go in and out on these joints, and then you can fold on this joint as well. All the way up, and the head can go up and down. So you can look down and up. The shoulders will also rotate here. Now, I'm not really sure what you're going to do with that, but I guess you can get his arms rotated up. This one's kind of tight, so I don't know, but you can have him kind of posed like that and standing next to him. Now, the cool thing is he integrates with the robot mode and with the vehicle mode. So take the arms, push them down. Take the legs, push those up. Take the tail, flip this so you have the tab on the bottom. That's going to tab in right here. And it should look something like this. Come to his back here. You're going to move these out of the way. And there's a little slot right there. That's going to fit onto there. You want it facing downwards. So it's head on the bottom. Just peg that in. And now it becomes a little backpack for Blackout there. That's really cool. At least I think it's cool. And for a quick size comparison, there he is next to the MP-44 Optimus Prime, which is approximately the same size as the MPM Optimus Prime. So this guy's going to fit in basically same size as him. Alright, now let's get this guy transformed into his helicopter mode. It is kind of an evolved transformation. There's a lot of little steps here and there, but overall I found it somewhat enjoyable, at least satisfying. Go ahead and unfold this from the side here. We're going to pull the arm away. It's plugged in right there. Fold this tab down. We're going to unpeg this from here. This whole back section is going to fold outwards and straighten out. Just leave that down for now. We're going to come down to the arm. Go ahead and open up this panel here. I'm going to open up this panel as well. And it's going to fold open. And this is going to rotate up and become basically part of the helicopter, as you can kind of see how it's going to look. Come to the bottom here, open up this panel here, take the hand, fold it down, make sure it's kind of straightened out like that, and then fold that into there, and then close this panel. Right, now, go ahead and take this, and that's going to tab into the side here. Take this panel, fold that up, and that's going to tab into there. Right, so that's kind of one side done. So we'll do the other one. We'll do that off camera, and we'll be right back. All right, now that we have both sides done, we're going to come to the back here and work on getting this out of here. So we can kind of move these out of the way. These are going to unpeg from the side here, and that's going to loosen this all up. And then this is going to come down from here. And here's where I was talking about earlier. You want to make sure this is tabbed in. So this little black piece right here attaches to this little clip. And once you take that out, everything's going to loosen up and kind of come out of the backpack. So pull this down, out, and away. And you got this big old backpack. So we actually take care of this. We'll move this to the front so you can kind of see what I'm doing. Straighten this up. I'm going to flip this around. Open up this. And that's going to come all the way to the back. Fold this back. And we can straighten this, and this is going to tab in right here. Fold these open, both sides, and then it's going to come down to the side and plug into the side on both sides. All right, so that's kind of the back of the helicopter. We can leave this blade down for now because we're going to have to do some more work. All right, to kind of get that out of the way, just kind of fold it forward. And I'm going to have to just leave it like that because that's the only way I can kind of show you. But we really want that out of the way so we can work on this part here. All right, so go ahead and take these, fold those up once and then twice. Now we're going to take care of the legs. So come down to here and untab this from down here. So that's pegged in right there. This is going to come around. We're going to rotate this around. Push these in if they haven't pushed in already. I just pushed them in accidentally, but push these in. Straighten out these legs so they're perfectly straight. And we'll do one leg and I'll do the other one off camera. By the way, watch out for this. These tail fins, you just don't want to damage them, so I'm just showing you that. All right, for these legs, there's a couple of steps here. So you're going to open up this panel, open this up, bring this to this side. You can fold this down flat. That's just going to sit on there. So this bring all the other side. We're going to fold down this wheel. And then we're going to take this and fold that upwards. And we're going to take the foot and then fold that down. This panel is going to open up. And then there's another panel under here. It's tabbed in. We're going to rotate this around and then bring this to the bottom here. Right. So it should look something like that. You can actually take this panel here and that's going to sit like that. So you can kind of see this making the back of the helicopter there. All right, make sure this panel's in. Go ahead and take this panel, fold that in. Take these. These are the heel spurs. Fold those in. All right, so it should end up something like that. All right, so go ahead and do the other leg and then we'll be right back. All right, so now we have both legs complete. We're going to take these and we're going to rotate them so that you end up with the fuselage kind of on the outside. This is going to make the back of the helicopter. If you come to the bottom here, you can see they're going to tab together. So there's a tab here, here, and here. So get those all lined up. And make sure the legs are straight. It really gets kind of confusing because these legs can get out of alignment and these panels like to get out of alignment. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be lined up for this to work, but get that all plugged in. So there we go. Make sure, yeah, that looks good. So come back to the other side here. We're going to again rotate this out of the way so you can see. So this is going to come upwards and all the way in to here. And basically you're going to click inwards. And you'll hear it click. So there we go. So it should end up like this, all the way inside, basically flush underneath. And this panel actually clicks in. There's two little tabs on the side, so make sure you get that panel in so it sits flush. All right, so it should have something like that on the bottom. So this engine is going to come downwards. And we're basically going to take all of this, fold these panels forward on both sides. They're going to tab together and peg together like that. And that's going to come down and tab in back here. So bring this down. Make sure all this fits together. So there's a tab right here on that side. It's a tab right there and a tab on the side. Let's make sure we get all that. And this is probably the toughest tab because it's really tight, but that's how it should look. So same on the other side. Make sure you get all those same tabs in. And then lastly, you can get this door back in here. It should just all line up. Make sure it's all tapped together. But so you should end up with something like this, with everything pegged in. Should be nice and flush back here. All right, let's come back to the front here. So these door pieces are going to slide backwards and you're going to peg in. There's a tab right here. It's going to the slot right there. Let's get this all the way back. Peg that in. Same on this side. All right, so for the last step here, we're going to work on the front, and it's kind of a cool transformation. So go ahead and open up this. That'll allow you to pull this outwards, and this is kind of the front of the helicopter there. Come to the inside here, fold these outwards. That'll allow you to take the head, slide that all the way down, and then close up those panels. They kind of make the front of the helicopter. All right, make sure that's all the way down. Open up these are just going to keep bothering me. Open up these to give you a little bit of room. Take these panels, fold them all the way up. That'll allow you to take these inside panels here. There's little windows. They're going to fold downwards. And that makes part of the cockpit, so you need those to come down. All right, now take this. Make sure this is forward. And this is going to come down and peg in and kind of attach that window. So you want to make sure that all fits in there. And then same on this side. Make sure it fits around that window. That's how you know you got it in the right position. And this is going to go in the middle. So make sure you have that closed up. And these are going to fit around that panel. All right, so once you get that, you're going to take this panel here. That's going to fold down and sit right there to make the front glass. Last step, make sure you hold this in and you're going to push that down, and that's going to hold the whole thing together. All right. So finally we can take care of this stuff here. So fold these back. We're going to take these panels here, and those are going to open up here. And you're going to accordion those inwards so they sit like this. Same on this one. Open this up, accordion this inwards, and then these are going to tab together. And then squeeze these together. Take these engines, push them back like this. Come to the top here. You're going to take these. There's two tabs. They're going to fit right into there. So make sure you get those all the way around, tabbed in. And then straighten these out so they should all sit equidistant. And you're going to take this piece here. This is going to lock it in. But before you do that, open up this right here, rotate it around, and then close that back down. These have two tabs each on the inside of these, which you're going to attach right here. So get this lined up. It doesn't really matter. You can just put it whatever way. At least I don't think it matters. But get this pushed all the way down, and then give it a firm squeeze for each one of these to make sure it's locked in place. Otherwise, it'll move on you. And now we'll take care of this tail fin since we left it for later. So fold that up. Make sure this tail is perfectly even. Come to the other side here. And we're just going to separate these. And should have it perpendicular like that. So there's going to be a couple panels here. So fold these over. We're going to peg into there. Fold this little one over. That's going to peg into there. This one here is going to peg forward. It's going to tab in right there. And then this one here is going to tab in right there. So you get a pretty clean bottom there. And there you have Blackout in his alt mode. Absolutely gorgeous looking vehicle. You got the transparent, shaded black windows here. You got the outline here for these windows with the yellow. Green tinted windows here. I don't know if they're painted or just tinted, but those look good. White here for the radar dish. This gun can move up and down. Unpainted, but it does look good. You got all sorts of little details here. It says Rescue DCC Must Carter ACT. It's just got a bunch of numbers and details and arrows. I mean, you got some lights here, yellow, green, some gray over here. You got the actual, I think that's an Air Force symbol. Don't quote me, I'm not a big, yeah, it is. Yeah, U.S. Air Force 4500X, danger, keep away. I mean, the detail on this is absolutely wonderful. I love it. Now, of course, you can spin the rotor blade. It actually spins quite nicely. Look at that effect. I mean, it just, on camera, it looks really cool. You can also spin this one. That one doesn't spin as smoothly or frictionless, but it does spin. You can get both kind of spinning. That's really neat. Other features you have here is, of course, you can come to the back here, and he's got a cargo bay door. So if you open this up, you do have to flex this a little bit to get these tabs past, but you can open this up, and now you can load some cargo there. And you're meant to put this guy in here. There's the slot right there. It's going to fit on that tab right here. So go ahead and get him secured. All right, then you can get him kind of folded up and hidden away so he can deploy Scorponok out in the field. Very cool. You also get the guns, of course. They still work here. What would it be without some guns? So these can plug in right here on the bottom. Let's get those pegged in. They peg in very securely. With those plugged in, you can actually use the blast effects here. So those will plug in on both sides. Now you're kind of forced to use this, but if you want, you can also put it here on this smaller one. Although it's not the best fit. Actually, does this fit? That one doesn't fit. I'm sorry. So you can't put the blast effect on here, but you can put them on the two Gatling guns, and that can serve as your firing weapons, which is really cool. Pretty neat. And for a quick size comparison, there it is next to the Transform Element Optimus Prime, which is the same size as the MPM Optimus Prime and fits in nicely. I like the size. Now, this real helicopter is gigantic, but I love that it's an officially licensed Sikorsky MH-53 Pave Low, whatever it's called. I'm not a big, plane guy, but this is great. I love how it looks. So final thoughts on the Takara Tomy Transformers Masterpiece movie series Blackout. Let's start with the positives. I think it's a great looking robot when it comes to being accurate to the actual movie and the way it looked. They nailed it. It looks great. I love that they put a whole bunch of paint into this. They didn't just leave it as plain plastic. You can tell they put a lot of love and care into this figure because they wanted it to look, premium. And I do think it does. I also think the accessories they included are great. I was not expecting to have this many, especially since for her Optimus we got almost nothing. But you get 2 guns, 2 blast effects, the Scorponok figure, and the little blade piece here, which detaches from the main blade to give you this weapon. Although I guess they had to include that, but either way, it's really well done. So all that looks good. The helicopter mode also is really, really well done. I love that it's officially licensed by Sikorsky. There's always something cool about official Army vehicles, and this is officially licensed by them. So I just think that's kind of a cool thing, Negatives wise, it is a little wonky and kind of weird, and it's probably due to the design. There's not much they can do, right? This is how this character was designed. He has a chicken leg. But due to that, there's just stuff kind of moves on you, gets in the way. Posing him like this, as you can see, was kind of a pain, to be honest. It's just, he doesn't want to naturally get into good poses. And that's probably the main gripe I have with this guy is due just to all the stuff. He is kind of annoying. But he's accurate, so I don't know. It's hard to knock them for that because they made it super accurate to the movie. So if you are a movie series collector, I definitely recommend this. This is probably the best movie figure they've done so far, honestly, in my opinion. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.